Hello and welcome to Politics Today, reaching you live from our global headquarters here in the nation's commercial nerve center, Lagos. I'm Jeffrey Uzonga. Today on the program, our focus will be on what may be playing out in the National Executive Committee meeting of the PDP, which you understand has just ended, where key decisions may have been taken on resolution. Now, what next for the opposition party? And also how the governorship aspirant on the platform of the APC in Ondo State are preparing for the big day, which is Saturday. So those are the two big issues we'll be dealing with today on the program. But first, let's tell you that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, that's the EFCC, has declared the embattled former governor of Kogi State, Mr. Yahaya Bello, wanted for alleged money laundering to the tune of 80 billion naira. Now, this was contained in a notice posted on the Commission's official Facebook page today. The notice asks anyone with useful information about the former governor's whereabouts to contact any of the Commission's offices across the country. The anti-graft agency had earlier stated that it will arraign the former governor before a federal high court sitting in Abuja. And talking of arraignment, Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court has adjourned the suits instituted by the EFCC against the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, to April the 23rd. The adjournment is for substituted service and possible arraignment of Mr. Bello on the said date over money laundering charge, as they've declared him wanted. During the sitting today, the counsel to the EFCC, Mr. Kemi Finro, told the court that Mr. Bello was absent from court for his arraignment because he's been protected by someone with immunity after he was whisked out of his residence by the same person on Wednesday. He maintained that if necessary, the military will be asked to fish him out to face his arraignment. Responding to his submission, Mr. Bello's counsel, Abdul Wahab Mohammed, told the court that Kogi State High Court had on February 9th restrained the EFCC from arresting or arraigning the former governor. But the counsel to the EFCC disagreed with the submission of the counsel to Mr. Bello, arguing that the ruling in the substantive matter on the suit was delivered on March the 17th by the Kogi State High Court, in which the court held that if the former governor is to be arrested or arraigned, the EFCC must first seek leave from the court to do so. It maintains that in the line with that judgment, the EFCC, through an ex parte application, filed for the order seeking the arrest of the former governor, which was granted by the court.
Simple. The defendant was not in court, having been whisked away by a person under immunity. We addressed the court on that, and we urged the court to direct service on this counsel who was present in court. The counsel declined to accept service, and the court has adjourned for ruling on that. Additionally, the court has adjourned for arraignment. Additionally, we have informed the court that by virtue of Section 287 of the Constitution, all persons are obliged to obey the court order. The court order is for its production on the next adjourned date, and the state will ensure that it's produced in court. Section 12 of AJA also allows a law enforcement agent to break down any premises where a defendant may be hiding. And so the state will invoke all its powers within the law to ensure that it's produced in court for the purpose of arraignment, and it's in his own interest. So he can come and plead his innocence, or he can take his plea as to whatever he wants to say.
Let's also tell you that the National Executive Committee, which is the highest decision-making body of the People's Democratic Party, has failed to take a decision on having a substantive national chairman for the party as it holds its 98th NEC meeting in Abuja. Although the need to have a substantive national chairman and to settle the internal dispute regarding the office of the national secretary, some of the issues that the PDP governors and the board of trustees wanted the NEC to decide upon, the NEC kept mum on those issues. Now, the NEC, however, directs the National Working Committee of the party to reconstitute all reconciliation committees to resolve internal wranglings.
The National Executive Committee of our great party, the PDP, at its 98th meeting today, Thursday, April 18, 2024, thoroughly assessed the state of affairs interests of the nation and the party and resolved as follows. 1. NEC commends all the organs of the party for their collective resilience, steadfastness, and commitment towards the unity, stability, and sustenance of our great party despite daunting challenges. NEC charges all organs, leaders, critical stakeholders, and indeed all members of the PDP to close ranks, jettison every personal or group interest, and work together in the effort to reposition and return the PDP to power at the center in the interest of the Nigerian people. Consequently, NEC received and approved the timetable for party congresses across the country. 12. NEC also approved the reconstruction of the reconstitution of the party disciplinary and reconciliation committees of the party to further ensure the stability of the party.
Well, there's a lot that was said in that particular meeting. We're going to explore all of it today. That's why I would say someone in the room will be joining us on the program, but those are not the only stories we're tracking for you. Let's take a look at your political roundup stories.
Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned the suit instituted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission against the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, to April the 23rd. The adjournment is for substituted service and possible arraignment. The EFCC is also insisting on breaking all barriers to find where the former governor is and brought to face his arraignment. Justice Inyang Ekwo of the Federal High Court in Abuja has refused to strike out the 9-count charge brought against the former governor of Anambra State, Mr. Willie Obiano. Delivering ruling, Justice Ekwo held that security vote is paid from the Federation account, and the court cannot stop the EFCC from prosecuting the case concerning how it was spent. Mr. Obiano had challenged the powers of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to prosecute him. He urged the court to strike out the charges against him, describing them as an abuse of court process. Mr. Obiano was arraigned on January the 24th on a 9-count charge of theft to the tune of 4 billion naira. The New Nigeria People's Party has dismissed the suspension of the Kano State Governor, Mr. Abba Yusuf, by the Major Agbo-led group of the party. At a news conference in Abuja, the National Acting Chairman, Mr. Ahmed Aduji, described those who suspended the governor as distractors and are not members of the NNPP. Mr. Aduji notes that the party is united and strong in fostering sustainable democracy in Nigeria.
But whoever will want to reconcile with us will have to now observe the rules and regulations as enshrined in the party's constitution and other regulations.
The All Progressives Congress has dragged Justice Usman Naabo of the Kano State High Court before the National Judicial Commission for granting an ex parte order restraining the party's national chairman, Abdullahi Ganduje, from parading himself as the party's leader. The restraining order by the judge followed Monday's suspension of Mr. Ganduje by executives of the Ganduje ward in the Dawakin Tofu local government area of Kano State. The ex parte application had as applicant the Ganduje ward legal advisor, Guanjo, and the ward's assistant secretary, Laminu Baguma. Meanwhile, some members of the All Progressives Congress in the North Central Forum are asking President Bola Tinubu and the governors of the party to return the chairmanship position of the party to the North Central. Speaking at a news conference in Abuja, the chairman of the group, Mr. Saleh Zazaga, explained that the leadership of the APC should look into the provisions of the party's constitution and return the position to the North Central zone, as this will further strengthen the party.
Following the resignation of Senator Abdullahi Adamu as the national chairman of APC in the North Central to comply with the party constitution, unfortunately, those calls were not added, and the position of national chairman was taken to the Northwest.
Welcome back. So those are the stories we've been tracking for you in the past 24 hours as far as the polity is concerned. Let's now get to our first conversation for the day. And it has to do with the People's Democratic Party National Executive Committee meeting. It was a highly anticipated meeting with loads of expectations. But what played out today is why we're going to have this conversation. I'm being joined on the program by a member of the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party, Chief Bode George. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Chief George, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Always my pleasure.
We've seen some excerpts from what played out today, but as I did introduce, I say you're the person, or one of the persons in the room. Perhaps let us in on what this NEC was meant to achieve and whether indeed it did meet expectations.
Yeah. Let me be frank. We had 3 meetings. The caucus meeting selected few leaders. We had the Board of Trustee meeting, and then, of course, we had the NEC meeting, which is the next most powerful organ in our party. You know, before the commencement of the meeting yesterday, personally, I was very apprehensive. I was not myself. I was thinking what would be the outcome, what would be, and I hadn't seen many of our friends for a very long time, since the end of the elections. But I must tell you that what he reminded me of was the fact that, yes, this is an irrecoverable political tree for this nation. And, you know, there is no organization anywhere in the world. You will have crises. You will have disagreements. If you have more than 1, 2, 3, 4 people, they all can't agree all the time. And like we have a saying in Yoruba parlance that we cannot all sleep and face the same direction. So it's part of management. You will disagree, or you must never be disagreeable. So all those thoughts were going through my head and my mind, and I kept thinking, my goodness, how would you, you know, I was the first to arrive at the venue yesterday. I sat back, I was thinking of our days since 1998, 1999, and all those, and I was saying, would today be the day we were going to bury this party? I prayed to God Almighty that, you know, we will work on our minds, we will be honest with ourselves, and we will remember that the party, we are all members. There's no individual who owns the party. It is our collective enterprise. So as we started the meeting, people kept, then I was the first to be there. They were coming in and seeing me and wondering. I sat very pensive. But I can tell Nigerians that we did not fall short of the expectation from the comparing that level from the time the party was established. The meetings, the first one, which was the caucus, selected few elders, tabled all the issues, and yes, of course, you mentioned the position of the acting chairman, then the position of the secretary, and a few others. But we also have to remind ourselves that, look, we still have to do a post-mortem, an in-depth analysis of what happened after that election, or during that election, the presidential election, which means we have a lot to do. But I am so happy by the time we have these 3 different meetings today. The rays are wild. The thought processes have been redefined. Everybody welcomed each other because we hadn't met but there are still 1 or 2 little issues, people who are still thinking of the way it was during the period before the general election. I wrote a paper, distributed the paper. This is the time to calm down, discuss with yourselves. it is a family meeting. We can tell ourselves some in-depth truth. And by the time we finished today, the issue of chairman, acting chairman, IU had already withdrawn the appeal, and it's clear. And the North Central have been told that, look, you go and present whoever you want to present, and let your caucus meet. Others had the thinking that this thing was zoned to the north and not necessarily to the northwest and north central. But we had said, we still have a bit of time. We don't have any elections, national elections, apart from the one in Edo and Ondo. We have enough time to ruminate, to think, and be honest with ourselves and erase this fundamental thought process that, oh, you are the only one that can do it. You are the one that owns and talks and this about the party. You can't do that in politics. You must give. People we have different ideas. But I can say publicly that it was the most successful, one of the most successful meetings that I have had since 1998. So very successful.
So, Chief Judge, so that I'll put it in proper context and for the record. So, are we saying now that the decision over Damagun's future has been made as far as he can still stay on as the acting chairman for how long in the party? I want to just posit a few things.
Now, yes. Yeah, you know, because these are in-depth issues. You know, his case is clear. And when something has to do with the judiciary, you cannot disobey the court. We don't do that in my party. So, but they had been told that he had withdrawn the appeal, so which means there was a vacancy. So, with that in mind that there was a vacancy, they have told in the process, we cannot leave that position vacant and do nothing. But they had given the people from the North Central, what we agreed was that, look, let them go back home, decide who they will want. The next NEC meeting probably will be in August. You know, we have 2 elections coming, local elections, the governorship election in Ondo and then the governorship election in Edo State. We cannot discountenance those ones. So what they had been told is, go and prepare yourselves. By the time we will meet in August, they must be ready to bring their nominee before the NEC, and the NEC would approve. Because the NEC is the next in hierarchy to the convention.
Okay, Chief Judge, so...
Damagun was gracious enough to say, look, he's not against that. Okay. And that he was even joking there. You know, it was like a family meeting. Very successfully handled.
Chief Judge, I would like to get as much stake on this because there's a lot to talk about. So I want to take as many questions, pose it to you as possible. So that means... what about the position of the National Secretary? The reason I'm asking now, 2 things here. Hopefully the NEC meeting will hold in August, because the last time NEC meeting held was in September 2022, which is in clear violation of your constitution at Article 31, subsection 4. Absolutely. It's very clear that the party is in violation of his own constitution when it comes to NEC meetings. So we hope it happens. Now, what happens to the position of the National Secretary? Is that the same... What decision was made? Because it is the position of the National Secretary that the APC, the PDP members in the Rivers State House of Assembly premised their defection to the All Progressives Congress, which is quite critical. So as we speak, Mr. Samayan is still the National Secretary, but the party has lost 26 or so members in the Rivers State House of Assembly. So what's been done about that?
You know, the Rivers State, remember, during the discussions, the Rivers State governor was present, and he reminded the NEC meeting that the decision yesterday, there are a few vacancies and some of the tenure of some of the local government chairmen and the ESCO, and then the state, and some areas. I can't put all those in my head now, but some of them have been given dates. The program is already being noted. They have discussed when they will do all the primaries, congresses in their state, because they had run out of the normal 4 years. It's not everybody, but some. Now, those elections that are coming up in Edo and Ondo, we are preparing ourselves fully for the battle. Because, you see, we fragmented ourselves, and a divided house will always remain a defeated house. We've learned that lesson. We've learned that lesson. And the issue of rivers, because of, I remember that was one of the last decisions made, that was that the caretaker people appointed for rivers had to stand down because there are still issues to be discussed. And everybody accepted that. The other one, the secretary's position,
yes.
They are going to look into it. They didn't discountenance it because, you know, it has to do with a court order that they said this, a court order that gave a directive that the secretary, they should nullify whatever decision they took. But that will be handled. And I am very happy with the way Damagun and all the other members of the National Working Committee had been running the party. You know, because they didn't come out for any exercises. Nobody knew much. But we saw, yeah, they had this human to have some failures. But overall, they did very well. That of the secretary has also been decided. They will be decided. And the finality will come in August.
It's interesting
that, yes, it's another abracadabra. No.
It's interesting how these days are being shifted forward, and how, Chief George, you made this look quite easy and simple. We hope it is. But let me read you a tweet by Ikenga Ogochinyere of the G60, yes. They call themselves, which is, I'm going to the big elephant in the room, the issue of Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister. Gochinyere said, is this really happening to us? He said PDP governors and the National Caucus members sat helplessly without anyone standing up to stop a serving APC government official from entering their closed-door caucus meeting in Abuja a few hours ago. How weak can a party that claims that it wants to capture power in 2027 be by allowing a man campaigning for APC to stampede their meeting? He hasn't taken down this post. I'm talking about Ikenga Ogochinyere. So, you know, what was the conversation really all about when it came to the issue of the G5 led by former Governor Nyesom Wike and the FCT minister?
Look, there is a committee that is to be set up, or there is a standing committee already set up. They are going to add more members and give them more time to look at. They will do a thorough, in-depth analysis, like a deep post-mortem analysis of those times, the period before our convention. What happened after the convention? What happened to the party after the convention? These are serious issues. But we don't want to start firing, because there are one or two people, too, that were still thinking about that past. The party must move on. We had gone through these war fronts. We lost. They decided that we lost. That we went to the court. The court also affirmed that we lost. It's a lesson. And if you don't learn the lesson of history, you are bound to repeat the same mistakes in the future. Now, with the beginning, because this is the first NEC meeting we are having after the election. So still so much to be discussed. The committees will look at these issues. They will look at the provisions of the Constitution. They will take decisions, and this is the time for us as an opposition party to reposition ourselves. That political Iroko tree that those founding fathers planted in this country is still solidly there. You can see the differences between the period we were in government and the period where our brothers, the APC, are in government. There are so many differences. So we are making sure that this internal lack of cohesion at the base of the party, at the middle of the party, and at the top of the party, we will refurnish them, repossess, reinstate all those values before we can go. Some people think, oh, no, just fire this one. Go. You don't do that in public offices. People will make mistakes. And there was something I ran into recently. Gandhi, the statement he made. He said it is necessary to have freedom of speech. And he said, if you have that freedom of speech and you forget to add the freedom of making mistakes to that one, then you are going to fail. So think of that. It is now time to do an analysis. Yes.
If I may butt in, sir.
There were too many things that happened. Yes.
Yeah, I perfectly understand. So what we read is the fact that a reconciliatory committee is set up for all of this so that they can mend fences. It's great that you're speaking as an elder statesman, but the truth still stares all of us in the face. Nigerians are looking at the PDP to form that strong opposition that it should be. And part of the question I want to ask you is, when you say you are forming a reconciliatory committee, what exactly does that mean? Because there are very thorny issues here. What brought the fracas? What brought the disunity was the fact that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who is from the north, decided to run after President Muhammadu Buhari's tenure. And G5 said it's not going to happen, and he clearly walked against the party. So what does reconciliation really mean? Because as we speak, it doesn't look like Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is not going to run again.
Time will tell. It's not a private enterprise. I want to assure you, and assure Nigerians, and to assure all our party members that, yes, we had this crisis before the election, but let us be judged by the manner and the method of resolving our crisis within the sitting room of our party. We are not going to be making decisions and taking ourselves. This is an issue within the party. It should not be discussed in the marketplace. Nigerians are they are looking very quickly for an alternative, because if they have compared these people with 8 years of Buhari, the 9 months or 11 months of Bola, they put that all together. Is that the dream of this nation? No. We are going to settle our own matters seriously, like a family, because you can't have it all. What happened? I'm not the leadership. The kind of position I hold in that party, I can't discuss the details outside. But like I told you when I started, I was very apprehensive. I was so frightened. As a general, I said, I sat down there on my own. But at the end of the meeting, I was satisfied that we will resolve this crisis. Yes.
Okay, if you can take this in 30 seconds, because I understand we're totally out of time. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike sits in the cabinet with the leadership of the country, which is run by the APC. And there are people in the party who believe he worked against the party. When you look at the PDP right now as a political party, do you see the party walking over that strong mutual suspicion amongst themselves in the nearest future? Just a straight question.
You know, okay.
Because there is mutual suspicion.
I can see, listen, there is nothing new under the sun. There was a time, some of these guys too, who are complaining now, at the national convention of the party, they walked out. They went and joined the APC. They came back because they were deceived in APC. They all came back and trooped back. And we didn't sack them. We didn't, you know, we said, okay, like a prodigal son, welcome back. But now, stick on and follow the regulations as stated in our constitution. There are issues. People have done so many things in the past. All you can do is, it's like you have a family at home. All your kids cannot be doing the same thing and making sure that they are in the good books. That's why the parents will not allow them to do any rubbish. They must follow the laws. You must follow this. It has happened before, and we got over it. I don't see why you are talking now about, you know, when President Obasanjo first came into office, he formed an all-inclusive government. Some of them came back, went back to their party after some time. Some remained in the party. So you got to know that human failings cannot be perpetuated. And I am, look, for me, what I saw at the discussion, the attitude of the people, I am very positive.
All right, George,
and happy.
My sincere apologies. I'm told we're totally out of time. But it's clear that you're taking that position of an elder statesman. We must thank you for coming on the program. I wish your party the very best, because Nigeria has a perception of the parties across board, APC, PDP, and they say perception is stronger than reality when it comes to the public. We wish you the best. Thank you, sir, for coming on the program.
Yeah. We need that. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Have a good evening.
All right. We'll go on a quick break now. When we come back, we'll switch gears to the issue of Ondo politics. Remember, just 2 days away from now, the APC will be having their primary. 16 men are jostling for that ticket, including the incumbent. Let's find out who joins us tonight to talk about this. That's him, Jimoh Ibrahim, Senator of the Federal Republic. He wants the job. Can he get it on Saturday? We'll find out. Join us again. And joining us on this particular segment is the Senator representing Ondo South Senatorial District, Senator Jimoh Ibrahim. He joins us right there in the state capital. Thank you so much for joining us on the program, Senator.
Thank you very much. My pleasure to be here.
I know you've had a very busy day and busy week, and all gearing up towards Saturday. So let's get straight to it. How are preparations for that day for you? What are you seeing? What are you hearing?
Well, we have to go. In the last few months, we've been doing political socialization of the environment, and it has been very interesting. We've been able to visit 203 wards, 18 local governments, collected data for over 120,000 people, and distilled data into pure analysis, because this is a primary election, so it must have some methodological approach. And it's been very interesting and so nice. So at the end of it, we then ended it with the Youth Congress, as well as the Women Conference, which took place today. And a total sum of about 5,000 people attended those two conferences. And they all have the membership card of APC. They're on the members' register list. We also did some scientific evidence approach to the primary. We collected the list of register of members from APC. We are 172 validated members of the party who are going to vote in the Saturday election. We took a sensitive variance of 5% of the figure we redistributed the figure to areas where they have population, where the votes are have good population. And then we were able to come up with our members that are supporting my ambition to become governor of the state. And we find out that we have a minimum of about 42,000 members who will vote for me on Saturday. Now, if you take that off the register with a 10 to 5% margin of error, then you see that no candidate can actually match this figure. So it will be very interesting, relaxing here in Akure. But like I said, we are going around 203 wards, as well as 18 local governments, and the response has been nice. So the distinction between our campaign and other people's campaign is the fact that we focus more on members of APC that are on the registered list. That's why we have to go detail to each of these people. And that's why it's become important that we are approaching the right people to vote in the election. So we're not doing garage campaign, doing rally in the garage where everybody will come up. So we go straight word by word to identify members of APC in the register. And we make sure that those are people that are support the race.
Because of time, so are you confident that there will be a level playing field? Remember, there's an incumbent in the mix who wields a lot of power in terms of influence and popularity, and maybe even war chest. I know you're not strange to war chest, by the way. But are you confident that there will be that level playing field?
Well, there will be, because APC believe in democracy, and this is internal democracy. The incumbent is not as popular as myself. He has not been able to win election in his political life career. Don't forget, I ran election into the Senate. I won in 6 of the 6 local governments, 65 of the 66 wards, 111,677 votes against my opponent of barely 50,000. So there's a wide disparity of 68,000 margin of votes against my opponent in surplus votes to me. So if I can win election in 6 of the 6 local governments and be able to win election in 65 of the 66 wards in 1 senatorial district, how come I won't be able to displace the opponent? The opponent, we didn't actually vote for the incumbent governor. You remember that. We voted for Akiti. So he is a peace pair to Akiti. And Akiti is the only person that have that legitimacy that translated into the votes. So for me, I'm the correct owner of my legitimacy, popular acceptance, a moral and political value. And as a matter of fact, you do know, like I said, I hold in my hand 111,677 votes.
Senator Jimo, if I may butt in, Senator Jimo, are you dismissing the power of an incumbent? Because I see the way you describe the situation. He's never won an election. It came as on a pair of tickets between him and Arakunri of blessed memory and all of that. Are you undermining the capacity of an incumbent to pull a powerful one in the party on Saturday? Is it the first time? Is it the first time you see somebody displacing the incumbents? It's not new in Nigeria political system, and this is very one case where the incumbent will give up by Saturday because he knows he doesn't have the structure. It's a banking on rallies, open rallies. You know the distinction between open rally and word-to-word or to see members of APC and give them palliative. That is what they need and look after their welfare. That's quite different from going to have a rally in the garage where everybody will come up and all that. You know, where is the structure of the incumbent? Tell me. Tell me where the structure of the incumbent is. In the South Senatorial District, where I am the political leader, but a senator who had won election in 6 of the 6 local governments, 65 of the 66 wards, 111,077 votes. Tell me where the incumbent power is the structure of the incumbents. Now we move to the center. We have people like Alashi Adura, where is the chairman of our campaign there. He was a senator, he was a commissioner. We have Oleyelogun,
who was the speaker to Aketi in the federal local government. You know, these are people supporting them. You have Princess Oladuni Odu, immediate past secretary to the state government, you know, in those states. So let me tell you, we have members of current state assembly supporting us. You have numerous commissioners and local government chairmen. So tell me where the structure of the Ekubenji is. Who is it, the owner of the structure? And you already know that before Akiti died, it was a war between the Ekubenji and himself. So don't cut me short. The issue is that if you don't have structure, you can't win votes. If you don't go to war to meet the owners of those votes and talk to them and get their legitimacy, you're wasting your time. Election is not done in the garage where you have
Senator Jimo, Senator Ibrahim, if I may button.
Yes.
It's great. We see your optimism and all of that, but we know how politics can play out. You know, when it comes to gathering or meeting, I'm sure every other person is also meeting someone. These delegates are being met by literally all of you, those of you who are doing the real work of going to meet all of them. And I'm sure they are making promises. On Saturday is a real deal when the decision will be made as to who bears the party's flag. But let's talk about a bit further on this particular one. What assurances are you also getting from the National Working Committee? When I say you now, you as well as every member, every other aspirant in the party, as to how things will play out, giving everybody a level playing field in terms of being fairness and being impartial?
I don't have to pursue people in their homes for support at the national level. Yes, I ask for their support officially, but the fact remains that the job of the National Working Committee is to prepare a free and fair election, to bring apparatus of instruments that will ensure that you have a free and fair election. When Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was contesting the election, not to see everything was in dark, but he said clearly that it is his turn. Whether National Committee or National Committee supported him, he won. In my own case, the National Committee have not told me that they will not be democratic. And it will be very unfair to be undemocratic. And I cannot accuse them when they have not shown me that they will not be undemocratic. My people are ready. You channel follow us in about 78 wards. What did you see there? You saw the members of APC. I told you, even in the South Senatorial District where I am staying, you know, if you divide my vote by 2 or 111,677 in the last election, I would say I have about 50,000 votes. I don't need 50,000 to win primary. Right. The total accredited member in the APC register is 172,000. So you see that nobody will win that election apart from me. On that
Senator Ibrahim,
yes.
We're totally out of time. There's a lot to talk about with you, but we don't have that time. But I must chip this in. If you can answer me in 10 seconds. Are you willing to show support to anybody who emerges on Saturday if it's not you?
Jimo Ibrahim will win Saturday election. There's no need to be negative about that. You don't
Senator
need to
Jimo Ibrahim, Senator representing Ondo South.
Your hypothesis is not right. Yes. So the hypothesis you are giving me is not well formulated. The right hypothesis is that Senator Jimo Ibrahim, giving his legitimacy,
well, I'm not a member of the APC. I'm not a politician. I'm just a journalist. So, the members of your party will make that decision. It's none of my business. My job is to cover it and report. I must thank you, Senator representing Ondo South.
Thank you very much for covering us, and thank you very much. Saturday we will celebrate. By Sunday we will have the ticket in our hands.
We wish you the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
And nice to see you again. Thank you. Cheers. Cheers.
We're not done with the conversation as far as Ondo politics is concerned. We're being joined on the program via Zoom by a member of the Aborigine, the APC elders in Ondo State that had endorsed the governor, Lucky Ayedatiwa, Mr. Bola Ilori. Mr. Ilori, thank you so much for coming on the program. Mr. Ilori? Okay, so basically I had two gentlemen, Senator Jimo Ibrahim and Mr. Bola Ilori, who is a member of what they call the Aborigines in Ondo State. They are a group of elders that actually spoke to all of the aspirants and pruned them down to about 10 and did their own internal screening to endorse a candidate so that they lessen the work for the national body. Well, that didn't work out because eventually 16 people were screened and cleared by the national by the national body of at the national level of the party. But what they did was they pruned down to 3 individuals, which was Lucky Ayedatiwa, the incumbent governor, Wale Akinteriwa was the former commissioner for finance, I think, as well as senior advocate of Nigeria, Lushola Oke. All of them, they came to those 3 and they finally decided on Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa. And they said they look at things like academic credentials, popularity, contribution to the party, financial standings, and a couple of reasons why they made the decision. And it was a big issue because, of course, it's politics. The other candidate did not agree with them, especially Lushola Oke and Wale Akinteriwa. And it finally got to the point where they all had to head to Abuja for that screening exercise. And we did speak with a member of that screening exercise, Mr. Bimbo Daramola, who was able to explain to us all of this, how they came to screen all of them. 2 women and 14 gentlemen are vying for the APC ticket for Saturday as against November governorship election that will be taking place in Ondo State. Let's see whether we have Mr. Bola Ilori. Mr. Ilori, are you there now? Mr. Ilori, if you can hear me. Oh, dear. Okay, I understand.
I can hear you very well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Our sincere apologies. I don't know what's going on with the network. I think we just have barely 2, 3, 4 minutes. So I guess you've been listening to Mr. Jimoh Ibrahim, Senator Jimoh Ibrahim, and I guess you have a response to some of the things he said because your group had endorsed Lucky Ayedatiwa, the governor.
Barrister Jimoh Ibrahim is a very respected member of the party. He has made enough moves to campaign. But you realize that if you look at the list of the who is who in our party, I listened to him. He was able to count maybe 2 or 3 people of the leadership of the party who are supporting him. But for the governor, the entire state is for the governor. And that makes life very, very interesting in this matter. As far as the election of Saturday is concerned, we are ready. And if you look at it, why are people supporting the governor? From the statement of Barrister Jimoh Ibrahim, you will realize that people love his humility. It's one big thing that people love in Governor Ayedatiwa. I listened to Barrister Jimoh Ibrahim in the afternoon while he was having the conference for the women. And in the conference, he said that as soon as he has been able to secure the ticket on Saturday, he's going to direct the governor that he should stop a policy. He will win first before that can happen. And those are part of where issues will be. If somebody we respect, but you realize that the people he puts in that hall, all the people who attended the event, both the youth and the women, they are not up to one word. So you realize that what was showcased on TV by Barrister Jimoh Ibrahim is not up to one single word of APC in the state. APC is a big party in the state. And you realize that we are ready for this.
Mr. Lawrence, I did say we don't have so much time. My apologies. So let's talk about the integrity of the entire process in terms of ballot papers and all of that. I hope everything is in check and there are no concerns because we saw videos which I may like you to speak to.
Yes, some people were caught yesterday trying to do fake registration. But I can tell you that it's an effort in futility. The interesting part of it was that those who signed petition that some people want to forge happens to be the people who had been caught forging. So how do you reconcile that? The number one signatory on that petition is the supporter of the number one signatory on the petition. The person caught was a supporter with branded cars of that aspirant in his compound. Since you have seen the video, I don't need to mention the name. The name was boldly printed on the car. So if you show the video, you will know who we are talking about.
All right, Mr. Bode, we must thank you for your time. Of course, all of these allegations will be defended by the people involved, but we do not have so much time, or we don't have any more time, I should say. But we must thank you for coming. A member of the APC, a member of the Aborigines, which are the elders of the APC in Ondo State. Thank you for coming on the program. Well, that's it on the program. Thank you so much for your time and, of course, your usual company. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Good night.